Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing great, man. We had the finals kicked off last night with Thursday Night Football between those Brownies and the New York Jets. Lots of points flying off the board. Breece Hall and Jerome Ford being the leaders of the charge with a Joe Flacco looking good. What are we talking? Boomer Bust Week 17 Fantasy Football Championships. There is no tomorrow. We gotta, put these rosters together perfectly so that we can hoist those trophies. I got lots of players on the board today that we're going to discuss my predictions for who's going to boom, who's going to bust. Let's start with these running backs. Jonathan Taylor, JT, 103 points. Okay, he's been dealing with a lot of injury this season. 75% on the boom rate, even though he has missed a lot of time. Every game he's been playing, he's been basically booming with the Colts playoff live still in the balance. JT, when he's on the field, like I'm saying, he's bringing the business. Having boomed in 6 games, the last 6 games that he has played, getting back to action this past week after that thumb injury. I mean, he gave us a decent floor, which was to be expected. I mean, facing the Ravens defense this week, which has balled out these past 3 weeks themselves, JT should be able to at least find room to find his way back into the end zone. Let's call a boom once again for JT so that he can hoist those trophies. I like JT a lot this week. James Conner, 133 points. 45% on the boom rate at this point since coming back from his injury. I mean, Connor's been even overall. Booming in 3 straight games since Kyler came back has been the positives. And, I mean, Murray has been the elixir to the drink that's been, stirring for Connor at this point. And, I mean, where Connor is seeing nothing less than 16 points with a ceiling of 22 in that time span, it's been absolutely fantastic, man. With Kyler dealing with an illness of some kind at this point, there is rumor that they could potentially shut him down for the rest of the season. Still no word on that yet. I'd be shocked if they did that, but there has been rumblings that could be a part of the game plan this week for these Cardinals. We just saw Hollywood, he's on the IR, so we'll see what these Cardinals do with Kyler Murray. But facing a tough Eagles club, Connor's going to have his issues finding room, especially if Kyler does sit in this contest. If Kyler plays, that opens up things once again. And I mean, even though, like I said, the Eagles have been susceptible, I called Kenny Walker a massive boom, a few weeks back. And I mean, it's because the Eagles defense has been susceptible to giving up runs to the outside. They have been beatable as the season has been going on. PPR upside and garbage time touchdowns will save his day. Let's call back to bust for a James Conner this week. First time in 4 games. It's going to be tough. I mean, but this is going to be, the caveat. If Kyler plays, the boom potential does increase. If Kyler sits, I'm going to suggest once again that James Conner is going to be a bust this week. Travis Etienne, 217 points, 60% on the boom rate. And I mean, while the season rests in the balance for the Jags, I mean, they could legit miss the playoffs the way that they've been playing ball as of late. Trevor Lawrence is dealing with a broken body, which is basically held together with bubble gum at this point. It is a big question mark. Is he going to suit up this week? Is he not? And I mean, it would behoove the Jags to get back to the ground game, to lean on Etienne heavily to protect a Trevor Lawrence at this point. Busting the last 2 games, I mean, faith is dwindling on my guy Travis in the fantasy football circles right now, but volume upside should absolutely be here. Ride Travis Etienne in this contest, save a little bit of a headache for a Trevor Lawrence. Back to boom for a Travis Etienne this week. He's got to give us the business, man. Alvin Kamara, 189 points, 83% on the boom rate. And I mean, since Alvin returned from his suspension back in week 3, he's rivaled the likes of CMC when it comes to boom rate consistency. And I mean, while CMC hits every single game, I mean, Alvin has only missed 2 contests this season since coming back from his suspension on the boom rate. While, the last 3 weeks haven't been the top end elite booms that we're looking for, but last week was a true bust. He only gave us 6 points in half PPR. And I mean, okay, this week versus the Bucs should bring more heavy PPR upside, which is positive for all of us. And I mean, Alvin was an absolute draft steal and should be on many final rosters right now as we are running into the fantasy football finals. Running could be tough, but feeding him in the pass game could carry us. Let's say boom time on championship weekend for Alvin Kamara. Wide receivers, DJ Moore, 203 points. Right now, 46% on the boom rate. And I mean, okay, the Bears season has had so much promise early on. And I mean, most of us, including myself, I was a big believer in Justin Fields, that he was going to take the next leap in his progression. But I mean, dealing with poor play, injuries, I mean, consistency, it's been a problem. But the one constant has been DJ Moore. Since his 45-point showing back in week 5, it's been up and down. I mean, Fields coming back to action has inflated Moore's stats once again. Moore has boomed in 3 of the last 5, busting in 2 straight. but he does have some concern this week, and rightfully so. Is facing a tough Falcons secondary, and I mean, Moore should have to earn everything that's going to come his way. Dealing with that tweaked ankle, he still will get that target share that we all covet for this wide receiver, but he could fall short. It is still a play if you have a DJ Moore, but I mean, we got to play our studs in this contest for the finals, but I mean, a caution bust this week for me, even though we likely have to play a DJ Moore. Stephon Diggs, Diggy, 203 points, 62% on the boom rate. Diggs started the season absolutely a man-possessed, booming in a massive 9 straight games. He was carrying all our clubs on a weekly basis, but since week 10, Diggs has been an afterthought in this, new-look Bills offense, having boomed in one of the last 4 since week 10. The floor has been, 6 points with a ceiling of 16, and it's been not good, man, under offensive coordinator Joe Brady. They do utilize the running backs a lot more in this offense, giving the defense, a lot more fits when it comes to that. But, I mean, facing the Pats in a must-win game for the Buffalo Bills, dedication to get Diggs and Kincaid back to business is got to be on the docket, man. So let's call TD boom for the finals for Stephon Diggs. He should help us get our fantasy football trophies, man. Demarcus Robinson, Los Angeles Rams, 64 points, 57% on the boom rate since coming into action. I mean, the Rams, Demarcus Robinson, he's been a great waiver wire fill in these last 4 weeks, having boomed in all straight 4 games while taking over for Tutu Atwell. It appears he's stolen the role, and he's not going to give it back anytime soon. Matthew Stafford is playing like a young man, 25 years old again. He's looking great on that field, and while the attention is always to Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Kyron Williams, Robinson is basically this forgotten man for defenses to cover, and he finds his way into the end zone on the regular. Target share is, the greatest risk. He could have 0 points. He could give us 17 points, but there is upside off the charts for a Robinson. I'm saying business is booming for D-Rob. Let's get him back in that end zone. Let's call a boom for this man once again. Chris Olave, CO2, my guy. 170 points on the board, 71% on the boom consistency. He's had a great season amidst all, the offensive struggles in New Orleans. He's been everything I knew he was going to be in this league. He's an absolute alpha playmaker. He's going to continue to go in that direction. And, even playing with subpar quarterbacks, again, he's turned out massive games, booming sick in the last 6 contests. He's been uber consistent this season, facing a Bucs defense who hemorrhages points to wide receivers and struggles on that defensive back end. Olave should find room to gallop in a very big way. TD upside has been the biggest problem for an Olave since he's entered New Orleans. Only 4 TDs this season. Once again, it is the biggest issue from him being into the top 10 of wide receivers, because if he did score more touchdowns, I'm telling y'all, that would absolutely come. But a 7th boom game is coming. Boom! Trust Olave to bring us all the way home. Tight ends, man. Evan Ingram. Okay, and the Jags, 145 points, 46% on the boom rate for Evan Ingram. And the Jags, Evan Ingram started the year off as a good tight end, but he just wasn't catching touchdowns. Rectifying that issue back in week 13. Took him 13 weeks to find the end zone. He finally found his way back in, and it's no secret his role's increased with the absence of a Christian Kirk. Ingram has, boomed big in 3 of the last 4 games, up to 22 points on the ceiling. It's been very good for Ingram these last 3 weeks, but the Jags, man, they're almost basically on life support right now to make the postseason, and they should leave it all on the field. Trevor Lawrence is trying everything he can to get back on the field, dealing with a plethora of injuries, and facing a Panthers team that does cover pass catchers extremely well. We will fit Evan Ingram in that pass catcher category, so I'm calling a bust on the horizon this week. I do like, potentially playing him, but you got to temper the expectations because those Panthers do play good pass defense. Travis Kelce, 169 points, 78% on the boom rate. It's been a down year for Travis Kelce. What can we say, man? The joke around the league is that Travis has been, given the Swifty kick in the nuts because he's with Taylor Swift. But I'm not going to go that far. That's silly and ridiculous. I really do believe the poor play is indicative of his body breaking down at this point. He's not the same type of player. He's feeling it. He's dropping passes. They're trying to regain some momentum facing the Bengals in a must-win game for the Chiefs this week. Even though Kelce has, been good on the boom rates, it's been middle of the pack when it comes to point productivity. He's just getting over that boom threshold that we're liking, and he's just not giving you the top end, quality games that we're used to from a Travis Kelce. Kelce should come out to play this week. You gotta believe he's gonna break out of his funk versus these Bengals. Boom time once again for one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. Isaiah Likely, Baltimore Ravens, 58 points, 13% on the boom rate, and that's okay because he's suited up for every contest, but he hasn't necessarily played. So this is the biggest problem. He didn't see a lot of the field when Mark Andrews went down for the season with his injury. And Likely has been a great great filler in this offense where, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens still continue to feed tight ends, booming very well in 2 of the last 3 games. Excuse me. His role isn't going anywhere. They utilize the tight end a lot. The Fins facing the Miami Dolphins this week, I mean, we should see a lot of attention from the secondary going towards Flowers and OBJ. Likely should be able to roam free, find his way back into the end zone. Boom, baby, boom for an Isaiah Likely. I do like the play this week once again. Tucker Kraft, Green Bay Packers, 50 points, 33% on the boom rate. And y'all know how I feel about the Packers, Tucker Kraft. I'm a huge fan of this guy. He's a quality tight end. He's been very reliable since week 11, having boomed in 4 of the last 5 games. His floor has been very safe. I mean, give us what we require. The top-end point productivity has not been there, but you're getting anywhere from like 8 to 10 points. It's good enough from the tight end spot at this point. And the Packers will end Week 17 with the Vikings on Sunday Night Football, last contest of the week, which will tell the tale of a lot of these fantasy championships. We'll see if Christian Watson and Jaden Reed do suit up this week, which I do believe they should. At least one of them, Reed, should suit up in this contest, so that should pull back a little bit of the target share for a Tucker Kraft. He should take a step back this week. Let's call a bust for a Tucker Kraft for championship weekend. But there you have it. That is Boomer Bust Week 17. Road to the championship. We are almost there. I do got start sit for you guys on Saturday, so definitely stay tuned for that. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.